You know we are doing 8 I love cakes, basically. Even though I'm slim, but I eat lots of cake. And for me, it's a passion because I've been doing it as a child. Helping my mom. We've always been around her. She bakes. She has a guest house and a canteen that she runs. And she does catering services. So everybody in the house, we all bake.
Having worked for several companies, Uche Ajuba soon felt the need to become self-employed.
I did my youth service with Safe Petroleum in Lagos. Here in Abuja, I worked for Panapina, I worked for the Comza, I've worked for different companies and firms. Okay, and eventually I realized that I actually could do something, be my own boss, and work at my own pace, and there's nothing as wonderful as when you are doing something that you love to do, and at the end of the day, you get paid for it. It's a piece of cake for me.
He shares an experience that further fueled this desire for self-reliance.
I and my sister, we did our youth service together, and as couples we used to bake, and do some snacks then, and sell at Ikeja bus stop then, and financially we were making almost 5 times of what the NYC pays us salary, and combined with NYC and our place of primary assignment. The truth of the matter is that we are living with our big sister, and she traveled out of the country for her vacation, and she gave us money that was tied us over for 5 weeks that she wouldn't be in the country. And as couples, we spent the whole money within a week. So we were in trouble of how to survive for the rest of the 4 weeks that she wouldn't be around. But luckily, we got paid our alawi, and we knew if we could blow what she gave us, there was a whole lot more than our alawi within 1 week. Alawi was not going to cut it for us. We said, okay, let's at least be doing scotch eggs, donuts, cupcakes, chin, meat pie, the basic things that we can do in small quantities and sell. And they can come for the whipped cream them and buttercream. They can come in different flavors. Okay. My little cousin used to take those things to Panapina, to my sister's office in Apapa, Panapina then, But sometimes at the Ikeja bus stop, she sells everything off. And people at Panapina are angry and like, what is happening now? Why people not coming today? And the whole snacks have been sold at the Ikeja bus stop. She didn't even make it to Apapa. But it was just for the period that my sister was supposed to be out of the country. When she comes back, she takes over the expenses of the house. And that was how we started, baking cakes. And people call us up and, please, can I get a cake for my house party tomorrow, next tomorrow? And like that, over time, we built the clientele. Okay, and we kept it going between us off and on until 2005 when I went into it fully. She got married and relocated to the United States of America.
For him, this was a hobby that turned into a means of livelihood, and he believes that every passion is a budding business venture.
In cake, there's what you call basic recipe, there's what you call basic procedure. Okay, so what you have to do is to perfect those procedures. Okay, and I got that procedure from my mom, and I kept trying to change the recipes that I use, and over time I have what I might call the recipe that works for me, the perfect recipe for me, for the different kinds of cakes that I do. Okay, basically, so that's how I grew on the job. I learn every day. I experiment, I try things. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. If it's good knowledge for me. If it's bad, it's still good knowledge for me, because I won't make the mistake of trying the same recipe or trying the same style or technique, some other time. This is the pattern. It's called folding in the flour. It's not called mixing. It's called folding in. Okay. What you're basically doing is you're taking from under and folding it in. I'm using vanilla because this client actually requested for a vanilla chocolate cake. This is not proper chocolate cake. You steam it. Okay. You don't really know. You steam it over heat. Okay, and then let it, you know. The idea is when you we start with kneading our fondant so they can have some sort of consistency and stay. Okay, they will be soft and pliable. I have to knead with my hand so that the fondant can have some sort of consistency. If you don't knead with your hand, it won't bind together. Let me have mat. I'm going to mat the cake. Okay, it's a mat. It's a decorating mat. Okay, so it gives it a design. Exactly. Okay. This is what you get. Okay. And this is a smoothener. It's going to remove the crumbs, the particles that might have touched on it, and we can still use the rest of it. Okay. Now this is the palette knife. Use it and trim the edges off. Okay. This is a 50th birthday cake for a 50-year-old man, not elderly anyway. So we are going to use the airbrush. This is the airbrush machine. Okay, I prefer to use the airbrush because it gives it a better finishing. I would like to achieve something golden. Okay, and you cover it and you spray. Now we have the good effect on the cake. Okay, so now we've gotten the color that we want, and we are back to the decorating table. You put your spoon, and when you want to know if you have the right texture, this is how it should be. It can drop and stay. It's not pouring down, which means it has the consistency. So what it means basically is whatever design that you do with it, it will remain that way. We are going to fly around on the cake. It never crossed my mind that this would be a means of livelihood, get married, have family, have workers, and and sustain them on what I make from cake business. It was never the game plan then. But nobody had a crystal ball to see, into the future, and somehow this is where we are right now.
He advises young entrepreneurial minds to grow from the scratch.
There's no limit to how much you can put into it, but you can actually start, with little amount of money. The only thing that I did for myself was I never got a bank loan or private loan, for my business. I built it up with whatever I make from it. I put it, back into the business. So I went from one hand mixer to 2 hand mixers to 3 hand mixers to a table mixer to 2 table mixers to an industrial mixer. I went from 4 burner oven to 6 burner oven, to the fabricated oven. So these things are not so capital intensive, for a beginner. But when you start going into industrial ovens and mixers, that's when it starts building up. Okay, but you can start small and build it, over time, as long as the product is good. My mother taught me something way back, which is if you are trying to minimize cost, and you don't bring out your best, okay, and the client, when they eat the cake, they wouldn't ask how much the cake cost. What comes to the mind first of all is, wow, this is nice, yuck, this is not nice. It doesn't matter whether it's a 10-inch cake or it's a 16-inch cake. You understand me? The most important thing is the quality of the cake. If the quality is good, yes, then people can, when they're paying you, they know what they are making that effort for. But when the quality is, is questionable, or is not stable. Today the cake is nice, tomorrow the cake is not nice. It's not good. There must be consistency in what you're doing, for you to be able to excel. Hard work, it pays off eventually. Not immediately, but over time. Yeah.
Now, what are some of the challenges you face in the running of this business?
I don't think there's any means of livelihood that is easy, as a matter of fact. We have challenges, or the basic challenges are: 1, power. We have to run generator, for longer than it would have been convenient for us, because they are dealing with, we have things that we do with milk, egg, so many things perishable that we need to keep in the fridge. Our mixers have to work with power. As a matter of fact, I prefer electric ovens, but I cannot afford electric ovens, because if my generators have to be on to power the mixers and have to be on, for the oven time, then I'm going to be in so much trouble. That's why I opted for gas oven, so that at least when the cakes get into the oven, the generators can rest. You have the challenge of managing people, workers, and you have to teach them to work to your own standard. For them, anything could just be like that, but anything doesn't cut it for me. I'm not that I'm a perfectionist, but if it doesn't have my quality, because consistency is very important. When I feel like maybe there's something new, when I learn it, I have to bring them in and teach them. Even before I start teaching people that come to pay for cake courses, dealing with the public is not easy. Sometimes you bake a cake that is moist and soft, and they're like, Uche, this cake is made, can't it be strong and hard like the cakes that, and I'm like, sorry, but the cake is supposed to be soft and moist. And sometimes people just have attitude. They feel like maybe because you're doing cakes, maybe you're not educated or you're not well traveled or something, and they talk to you like, please do make sure that cake is delivered in my office by 8 o'clock in the morning. Come on, what happened with, could you kindly try and get the cake across to us by 8 o'clock in the morning? Sometimes some orders are emergency orders, and maybe it could be on a Saturday and the person can't do an internet transfer, and you don't know where they got your number from, and they ask you, please, ice a cake, I'm going to come and pick it up tomorrow, Sunday morning or something like that, after church or something, in the next couple of hours, and you go ahead and you ice the cake and the person doesn't turn out. Managing people generally is another challenge.
Indeed, all of life's endeavors are wrought with ups and downs, but some periods in the year make it worth his while.
But there are still days that we don't have much doing. Maybe sometimes, maybe once, especially towards middle of the month, before people receive their salaries, those weekends are quiet. Let's say weekends of like 14th to 20th, and the moment people get paid, end of the months are crazy. Because we have people offering for cakes that are using as PR, as thank you to people that they work with, colleagues, friends, from time. It's not like one basic day. It spans over like a period of almost 4 weeks. Those are high times for us. The busiest time for us, for me personally, is Valentine. It's actually crazy. When you plan for 100 cakes, you end up with order for 200 cakes. When you plan for 200 cakes, it's like 250. You can never have enough cakes for Valentine. That's one thing I've come to find out. Before, I could plan for like 50 cakes for Valentine, and before you know it, you're in so much trouble because those your old regular customers are the ones that will come at the last minute. Uche, it's a matter of cake or die. Either my wife is going to divorce me today if you don't give me cake. These are when we are very, very busy. Wedding seasons like Easter, before Christmas, when the rains are not so serious. Yes, we have lots of wedding cakes. Some days we have up to 3 wedding cakes in a day.
Now, how have you been able to successfully meet up with the demands of customers?
For the quantity of cakes that we do now on a daily basis, I can't do it alone. Even not from the baking to the icing, I can never do it alone. So there has to be that optimum level of professionalism among my workers, my staff. I have 5 permanent staff, men, working for me. Okay. Now, out of those 5 guys, 2 are basic mixers, 2 are icers, if I might put it that way. Okay, and 1 is more like a general, everything. But basically, I have 2 people that I'm sure that once I want the cakes to be baked now, their priority is to have the cakes baked. And I have people that are doing the fondant, the crafting, sugar icing. Now, I also have the crafters that I use, like my wife.
And we watched as customers trooped in to pick up their orders.
I've come to pick my daughter's cake. I've been his customer for like 5 years. There are other people that are as good as he is, but I love something about him. He doesn't compromise. He knows what he's doing. He knows his work, and he knows the value of his work.
I'm here to pick up the cake I ordered for. Yeah, it's for my wife's birthday. The main factor that really endeared me to him is, one is creative. Each time you come, he tries as much as possible to give you something different, and also he tries as much as possible to maintain this level of relationship. Even sometimes at the shortest notice, you can still be sure that he's going to deliver.
How does your wife feel about you being in a seemingly female profession?
My wife is part of my business, as a matter of fact, although post-marriage anyway, and she still has her own job, but after work she assists. She crafts for me. There's so many things that she does for me. She even gives me ideas. Sometimes I might run out of ideas. There's nothing like the feminine touch to some certain things. I'm a man. I may not be so good with flowers and things like that, but she'll be like, okay, put this one here, put this one there, and it turns out because she quite has a creative mind, so she assists me.
My husband loves what he does. He loves it. When I say he loves it so much. And he puts in everything. He tries to impress. He tries to, please his customers at all times. And if this is what he loves, I will go all the way to support him, to give him my support. If he wants to work around the clock, we are going to work around the clock. I do not have any problem with that. But initially, it was a big problem. It takes a whole lot of his time. People call him 6 o'clock in the morning. People call him 12 o'clock in the night. His telephone is always on, to order for cakes. At times 2 a.m. he's working. 3 a.m. he's working. He has no particular time when he starts to work and when he closes for the day. Once there's an order, he is working. I've come to realize that, there's no way out. So all I need to do is to support him as a woman. What do I do? How do I come in? How do I contribute, to take the business to the next level? I now went into sugar craft. It makes the cake look better. It customizes the cake. It enhances an overall of what we do. And for me right now, it's okay. And if it's putting food on our table, why not? I'm good with it.
He shares his thoughts on competition among similar businesses.
As a matter of fact, I have basically like every month I have upwards of like 4 or 5 people that come to the cake course here, and it doesn't really matter. There's no problem with sharing the knowledge, okay? And it's not about what other people are doing. It's all about what you yourself are doing. For me, I think the competition really doesn't matter. Then, back in the days, let me give you a story. I went to make a delivery for an old customer of mine at the Shoni Bank. When I went in there, the woman, she ordered for 2 cakes from me because the husband liked my cakes. And when I got to her office, the whole passage corridor everywhere was filled littered with cakes. There were over 30 cakes. When I came down from the office, my friend was in the car waiting for me, was like, "Are you okay? Why is your face like this?" I was like, "My brother, so many people are doing this business, so will I survive in it?" Talking about when it used to be, if I get 2 cakes in a week, it's like Christmas. It's a wonderful week for me. And I've gone from 2 cakes in a week to like 10, 12 cakes a day. You understand? So it doesn't really matter about what other people are doing. Just concentrate on your own and make sure you're doing your best. And with hard work, God's grace, the competition, I'm good for the competition.
Being in a seemingly stereotyped female field and on a full-scale basis, Uche Ajuba has no regrets.
I stay at home. My office is basically my house. Okay, so I stay home and I work. And my little girl, when she comes up from school, she stays at home with us. I'm there. My mom is very proud of me, of my career line.
All my children, they're all, interested in, like when I'm baking, they will say, "Mommy, we want to test this, we want to test that." So he was keen on it. Though the cake business is not what it used to be then, I would say I'm old-fashioned. He's even more advanced now than I am. When you retire from a profession and you see your child, taking after you, it makes me very happy. And I'll do everything, to encourage and support him.
The cake thing, it pays my workers. It takes care of my bills. Car, fuel, clothes, food, all my bills. And still something to put aside for the rainy day. And still something to still invest into the business. So I have to be honest, I absolutely have no regrets.